One. I love the energy in the room. Sometimes it's hard to pause you all because I love the connections and interactions. But I'm also very excited for our presenter today. And I think that you'll find that it's a really creative project and something that would collaborate with others in the community, bring something to community. But so good morning. We have some new faces in the room, so thank you for joining us at the 1MC. I wanted to remind you that the 1MC is open and free for anyone. Anyone can drop in and stop in at any time. I'm super excited. Sorry, Jay, one of my students is here, and I'm very excited, an entrepreneur. So hopefully we'll take this stage at some point. But there's a lot of energy being built around this 1MC, and it's really excited to see it starting to build and grow in our community. And so I just always want to say thank you all for your support for what we're doing and supporting the Hive. And also, if you look around at the beautiful art, the first Friday, so there's some extraordinary art around the space. So thank you, Trever, for always offering your space and being so gracious and letting these artists display their work. So 1MC, just really something very brief because we have some new people in the room. The 1MC is a Kauffman Foundation that's been around for a very, very long time. They actually have about $2 billion in their coffers that they love to give out to entrepreneurs and communities. They have grants and scholarships and a lot that they give back. And the founder of the Kauffman Foundation really reached their pinnacle, their level of ultimate success, and then they found that they wanted to give back. So it's Ewing, Marion, Kauffman, and he wanted to give back and see other entrepreneurs succeed and find their space and where they need to be and also contribute to the economy. The 1MC came out of that. There was a conversation that there were probably 1 million cups of coffee around this group at the Kauffman Foundation around entrepreneurs, and so they came up with the idea of the 1MC. It is a celebration of entrepreneurs. It is very centered around entrepreneurs. It's not about selling and pitching or even networking. It's about connections. So the whole goal was to connect. Because if any of you in the room are entrepreneurs, you know that it can be lonely, and it can be scary at times and uncertain. And so the goal is that we have entrepreneurs present 1 or 2, 6 minutes, and then a 20-minute Q&A for each of the entrepreneurs. The point of it is to hear the entrepreneur story, get an understanding of who they are, what they're doing, where they want to go, and then how can we best support them. And it can even be ideas. It doesn't have to be anything concrete, but how can we as a community support our entrepreneurs and rally behind them in the efforts and the work that they're doing. So that's really the premise of it. And if you want to check it out, it's Rogue Valley 1MC. And we're starting to gain some attraction and some attention for our efforts. And so I think that that's also exciting to bring new energy into the community and new energy for support. The calendar's starting to fill up, which is also amazing. So there, you'll look forward to some entrepreneurs, but we will have some town halls that'll follow to just really continue to expand on this work. Elizabeth, I may share, we want to have a 1MC for students, which would be really fun. And 1MC does that. So, getting our young entrepreneurs, youth entrepreneurs involved and a chance to be on a stage, which is a great experience. We're rallying behind some nonprofits and others within the community. So if you would like to present or you have something that you would like to share in the space, just reach out to us or go to the Rogue Valley 1MC and click there to apply to present. We'd be happy to have you. Do you have any questions of me before I introduce our presenter? Oh, thank you, Trever. There's a QR code. If you click on the QR code, it registers you for our event, which is actually really important. And also it'll help us down the road build a space to communicate with you all. That's been a request. And two requests that came out of last week that I'm working on now. One was the story. Many of you want to hear the story of the entrepreneurs and their journey, so we're going to work on something to get that out. We're following all of our entrepreneurs, and then they may come back and present. The other thing is to build our database of 1MC followers. So by checking in 1MC, they look at our website and our space and what we're doing, and then they'll reach out every once in a while. So the hope is that we can continue to get 1MC support, but maybe even more support for our entrepreneurs and what that looks like, whether it be grants or scholarships. So thank you. Is there anything else, Trevor, that I forgot?
You are so incredible. You
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have the gracious, please come up here, the gracious honor of introducing someone who is just an incredible human all the way around. And I think, James, this is how connections work. I really wanted to be a part of the Ha when I heard about it, but I thought, how would I fit in? You know, I'm kind of not really an artist. So I basically stalked Colene to be a part of the committee. And so I'm so happy to be a part of the Ha committee. Oh, does anyone know what the Ha is? Ha. Marta. Thank you. The High, the Hive Art Hub. So Sweet Colene, the executive director of the Hive Art Hub, and really just this incredible connector, selfless, giving human that has really helped to support artists and artists within the space, and who is an amazing artist. And some of her art graces the walls in my dining room, so if you get a chance to check it out. But it is my great pleasure to introduce Colene Milligan, Sweet Colene.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I have been in the audience many of times and witnessed people get up here, and now it's my turn. So bear with me. I just want to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my past, my present, what I'm doing now, and what I want to do in the future. Okay, so creative beginnings. This goes all the way back to high school. I was the top of my class. I received 9 medals. I could only wear 3. I received 2 scholarships. I was art club president for 3 of the 4 years that I went to high school. That tells you I was a sophomore. First art exhibit was at the Salvador Dali Museum in St. Petersburg, Florida. This is my art over here. You can see I'm very surrealistic, and I consider it neo-surrealistic because it's new. I pursued a career as an emerging artist all the way through an established professional artist. In colleges, I put myself through 6 colleges. I took every available art class. I moved around a lot, and I constantly either had to start over or pay extra just to go to school. All the while I was professionally exhibiting my art. I was working full-time to fuel this fire. Still in Florida, I accepted the role as the resident artist for a cast glass art museum. Again, this is in St. Petersburg, Florida, which turned into office manager, which turned into inventory controller, and eventually museum curator. There was 3 enterprises that I oversaw, and I think this experience needs more elaboration. Here's some pictures of what it was and what it became. That blank picture is further elaborated down in the bottom where it shows the entire expanse of the building. And if any of you guys have been to Gallery 1, the entire space of the museum upstairs is 1/27th of what I curated. It was a big town, it was a seedy district, and we turned it into a thriving arts community. Bistros, shops, everything followed. We put in a museum cafe, a gift shop, a virtual reality experience. There was artist studios, education and workshop areas, banquet, reception areas, security, inventory. The exterior mural that you see below, I helped. I touched it up when the artist had to leave and go back to Peru. And there was a private artist loft on the 3rd story, which was very classy. Here's a couple pictures of what it took to make that. You can see my projects, my services, the actual specs of 1 floor. Each little dot represents 1 artist of the 100 artists that I curated to put into that museum. There's also my duck that I accidentally painted with blacklight. That doesn't wash out, and they never lose those feathers. So all along, while doing this, I was building my career as a prominent artist. I was celebrated by the community. I premiere painted at all the live events while interacting with the community. I have a massive storage unit in Florida that I need to get back to. I was published many times. This is one example. And I was taking ribbons. And then we moved out west. Just the wolf hybrid rescue, the white rabbit, and myself. I'm the only one in my family to ever come out west, and I've been here since 2017. I came out to Oregon in 2019 because I fell in love with the redwoods and the rivers and the mountains and the coast. A local shop took me in when the only gallery in town was booked for years, and the museum turned its nose up at my art. I don't think they knew that I started out in a museum. So I want to give props to True Juice Organics, which was the local merchant that opened its doors. I was the first artist to go in there, and now there's over 25. I've exhibited at over 32 local establishments here in the Pacific Northwest, and that number keeps growing. This past February, I answered a call to artists at the Hive. Thanks to Trever, Mike Smith, Eva, and the other founding artists that put it together, I accepted the role of the executive director and president of the board. It's very difficult. I didn't know that it was going to take as much as it did, but I have zero regrets. I work 60 to 100-hour work weeks, and I have mentors that just fill my cup and give me a reason to lead forward. It's been a lot of sacrificing, and there'll be a lot more sacrificing to come, but I'm not done yet. In 7 months at the Hive Art Hub, we have completed 29 community events. That's this year. That is this art on the walls. That's the upcoming shows that we're planning right now. So even now, I see a need and a solution that I am inspired to bring. I want to introduce the Pacific Northwest Gallery business concept to launch in 2025. It's going to be a new place centered in Grants Pass that offers Oregon yet another avenue of culture and class through the arts. I aim to bring a new gallery experience that is the culmination of everything I have learned. Coast to coast, NPO to LLC, emerging to established artist, and creative collaborations. This will entail a permanent Sweet Colene Art exhibit. I have over 2,600 paintings. I could fill this room over and over and over again, and I want to. I want to feature rotating featured Pacific Northwest artists. Eva Shaw would be my first. I want to do national art trades with the associations that I have on the East Coast, with museums, with galleries, with other artists that are reaching out to me that want to exhibit in the Pacific Northwest. I want to offer a rentable gallery space for events, for other artists to feel what it feels like to have this. Workshops, collaborations, education spaces, a gift shop, a mentorship lounge, and possible cafe, bar, and food truck hub. I want to bring the commerce that comes with being a professional artist and offering a professional gallery to the community. Here's some pictures of my art. And thank you kindly for your time, mentorship, guidance, and support. Any advice or questions? I will repeat the questions when they're asked.
Very well.
Yes. Damien wants to know, how can you support me as a community? And I think the best way would be to start telling my story. I want the community to know that I'm serious, I have the experience, and I'm not going anywhere. I believe that Grants Pass is right in the center of the Pacific Northwest, that it needs to be a stopping location, and I have experience making that happen in St. Petersburg, Florida. I challenge you guys to look up the Imagine Museum. That's what I built. Anybody else? Yeah? Yes, she asked if there's already a building that I have my eye on for this. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I have given 2 proposals. This is technically my 3rd, and the search continues. I see a lot of empty buildings downtown that have potential to do this, and through this presentation and through these pictures of the before and afters, I hope to inspire some local property owners to open those doors up to the arts. There's so many that it's inevitable. Yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
Could you please share some parallels and differences between the Florida market, museum, and the Grants Pass market?
Ooh. Can I please share some examples of the difference between the Florida markets and the Grants Pass markets? That's a really good question. And so with Florida, we would have every weekend art fairs, art shows, and artists coming out from their studios to put artwork on. Thriving community. Here in Grants Pass, I feel like us at the Hive Art Hub have really led the way with showing up every month and doing that first Friday gallery stroll, the art stroll to this place. And I'm seeing the growth of Grants Pass get up to where Florida was. In Florida, I would have an art show and people would be waiting to be the first to buy my paintings. Here, I'm still introducing myself. Yeah. And the similarities would be, thank you, the similarities between Florida and the Pacific Northwest would be the diverse culture and the actual love of art that I see. It's interesting when people come to our gallery shows, either they're an artist themselves or they're a brand new collector, and it just happens. And I saw that in Florida multiple times, and I just feel like Grants Pass is on the precipice of becoming a major arts destination. I work with artists out of Ashland quite a bit, and they're trying to come here. They're contacting me to exhibit in Grants Pass, and that is what's going to take to elevate this arts community to what I have seen in the past. Anybody else? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so to reiterate, very interested in the educational aspects that come with art establishments and how we can introduce that to the community through multiple ways. So I will always be heart and soul Hivve Art Hub. This is my baby. And I feel that a lot of the workshops and the initial gallery experiences start here. What I'm trying to do is add the next step for the artist to add to their portfolio in a professional gallery setting, but also provide a space where we can do workshops. And I want to work with Kim and all of the other local maker spaces to provide a place for them to actually exhibit. I know that the museum holds massive, beautiful, beautiful workshops, and I don't want to compete with that. I want to add to it. So if ever there was a need for a different location or a larger location maybe that was called for, then I would step up to be that for the community. Yeah. What really lights me up about helping other artists? Ah, you're speaking to my soul now. I'm pretty sure half of you in this room can quote me when I say this, is that I want to give artists every opportunity that I wish I ever had. I grew up, it was bootstraps, it was cutthroat, it was, people would steal sales from me right there, and people that come and work with me, whether it's through the Hivve Art Hub, through its Rogue Arts Collective, through the different nonprofits that I'm associated with, they don't feel that competitiveness. I feel that competitiveness happens at the bottom. And if we want to get to the top, we need to start collaborating. Anybody else? Oh, one more.
I'm curious a little bit more about the market. So if you create this space here, where are you drawing people from? Because you're really trying to create a space where people can purchase art. And so how does that look?
Yeah, so how would I draw people to the space to encourage commerce here in Grants Pass? I feel that sustainable tourism is a very important thing, and also the collaboration between other established art communities. The new kid on the block, I don't want to disrupt anything that is already moving and flowing well. I only want to add to it and connect the dots. So by advertising along the I-5, like I'm not kidding, if you go from the coast to Portland, we're right in the middle. If you go from the Redwoods to Eugene, we're right in the middle. Like, we are prime location to be a major stop in the Pacific Northwest, and we just need something to like really make it unique and really make it a draw to come here. So I feel that through collaborating with other entities that are established and through advertising that this is the next place to miss. Our slogan should be Grants Pass, don't miss it. Come here. Be part of the culture. See the culture. Anybody else? Yes, Kim.
I'm gonna try to not. I'll move up here so you can hear me better. I'll try not to make it really drag out, and I'm really try to be concise, which is difficult for me. So when we, we ask about support, what other avenues of support that you need as far as you talk about
Yeah, well, other than telling the story, because I think that's super important, it would be financial help, guidance, mentorship. I have 10 mentors and counting right now. I love every single one of them. They help me guide the leadership path that I'm carving. Um, Assistance with business, putting the business together in itself. I'm not going to pretend that I've done it here in Grants Pass before. I did it in Florida. This is a whole new ball game, and I recognize that. I recognize that there's established relationships and that there's respect that needs to be given. So when I say mentorship, that's really me talking about collaboration and acceptance and support.
Coming back to the building space, do you have parameters for building space? What size does it need to be? What are some things that we should know as far as what you're looking for?
Yeah, so let me just say the reason why I'm not specifically talking about the Hive right now, because this is an adequate and perfect space to start with, is that this is a functioning event space that they hold other events. So I can't have rows of gallery walls that stay there. And out of respect to that, and respect to art falling off walls, of us just trying to get it up there really quickly, is to move beyond that. So I would say this size and beyond. The museum, like I said, was a 3-story old brick schoolhouse with gym and playgrounds and everything that we worked. So I'm not limited to the scope of it because I can fill it with that many artists. A lot of them would be ranging from Crescent City up to Portland at that point. But my initial goal is to start small, to start realistic, and to occupy something downtown that's being neglected. Anything downtown that's being neglected would work right now. Yeah.
Do you have a budget for location? Or could you tell us a little more about the financial side of things? You mentioned, you have a location back in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a little bit about your expenses there, or some of the income that you generated there?
So the question is if I can elaborate on the expenses a little bit more. And actually, in Florida, I signed an NDA. I cannot talk about the gallery work that I did that's in the building, any names or any financials, but I can tell you that they were massive. Here in Grants Pass, I have a budget worked out. I planned it in phases, and the first phase, before a building is actually even acquired, would be to get the website, get the LLC ready, get the annual fundings, and that I budgeted out to $1,500 for phase 1. Phase 2 is when I actually get into a building, and then you're paying whatever rent, utilities, insurance, and then beyond that is gallery build out. So I have this whole plan to put gallery walls on casters so that they're movable, and then you can actually direct the flow of traffic and rent it out for additional things. So financially, that would be actually one of my asks from the community, is to help me wrangle all of that together. And to be totally honest with you, my mother was a hippie housewife, artist, go-go dancer, skydiver, and my dad was military and aerospace and mechanical engineer. So I'm half one way and half the other. I understand the importance of that question. I'm still diving into it. Thank you. Did you have a question?
Oh, I was just wanted to really quick ask if there's like an elevator pitch that you have talking about this. Like this is, so what is it exactly? First of all, do you have a name for this plot? Is it a collective or is it an art museum that supports all other artists? Like, how do you sum it up?
So the elevator pitch is Pacific Northwest Gallery, and I need to lock that name in because I've said it quite a bit. And the main point of it is I need a home base, personally. I want a gallery. And then on top of that, I want to feature other artists and bring other artists in as special guests and special features to add to the gallery. And then also, offer it for workshops and collaborations. But it's definitely not going to be a nonprofit. I have my hands full with that, with the Hive Art Hub. This is going to be an LLC. And I've learned my lesson since February that I haven't been paid at all for my work as a nonprofit executive director. And that's why I want to move towards an LLC. And that's why I want to bring this experience to a business that I can thrive off of. I just found out I'm 11 weeks pregnant, and it's going to be a boy. So I'm very serious, and I'm trying really hard to continue to give to the community and to lift these artists up. I feel like I raise the bar and then turn around and help people reach it. I turn a bar into a ladder, but at the same time, like, I can't have people just climb on my back. I have to keep moving too. So I'm not being selfish when I say that I want to open up a business for myself. Yeah.
These days, social media presence has become more and more important.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a heavy social media following on, the various social media apps, or is it just your website that you have where it's like?
Yeah, so social media following standing right now for me as an artist, not necessarily this entity. On Facebook, I have over 5,000, but on my personal page, it's really hard to get people to switch to your business. So I have under 2,000 on my business, Sweet Colene Art, and I have over 5,000 on my personal, which makes me a city figure or something, And then on Instagram, I have 1,785 followers. And a lot of those are actual collectors, fellow artists, and other art entities. When you are trying to build up your social media, you want to follow the people that you want to follow you. So a trick for artists, if there's anybody out there in the field, look up the museum and look who follows the museum, and then follow those people. Look up the galleries, the big galleries, see what individuals are following those galleries, and then follow and make connections with those, because those are the supporters and the collectors and the people that are going to be interested in any artist. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Yeah. So the story of going to 6 different colleges and taking every art course that I could possibly get in there. I moved around a lot. I fell in love, and he moved around a lot pretty much, and I always wanted to continue education. My grandmother was taking a humanities class the day she died. She was always in college, is my point, and I feel like that kind of adding to the existing knowledge is so important when you're just building who you are. So my favorite courses, I loved color theory, and I loved color history. I can tell you that the color chartreuse, when it was first introduced during the Baroque period, it was during formal wear for women. So if you can imagine a ballroom with mauves and whites and off-whites, and then bam, somebody comes in with like a tennis ball green color. That's fascinating to me. I took that and I held that with me. And I just wanted to learn every type of art. I'm classically trained in watercolor, oil, and then multiple times over in acrylic. So my choices that I choose to paint with are acrylics. I'm in love with neons and things that change when different lights. And I actually plan on going back to school here for the 7th time here in Grants Pass. And just because I want something to be proactively doing during this pregnancy, and also while I'm building this business that will directly impact it and help me find artists and supporters in it. Thank you. Yeah.
Would you be willing to share a little bit about the piano project and what went into the piano?
Yeah, so Dana's asking about the piano project, and I feel like a little bit of an imposter talking about it because Eva Shaw was our lead on it, but I'm sure she'll let me. So the piano project is something that we partnered up with the City of Grants Pass and COPA and got approval with the HBSC on the use of our colors. But basically what it was is a 100-year-old piano that was donated to the City of Grants Pass, and our nonprofit art collective, the Hive Art Hub, took it in, painted it. Over 7 different artists worked on it. The theme of it is harmony and history. So if you see it, it's at the Welcome Center now. It's really, really cool. You can actually play it. You'll see the orchestrion painted on the back, like exquisitely, again, by art by Eva Creature. And I did the bench. It was painstaking, like bent over, painting up on that bench, and 5 other artists worked on it. And it took us, 3 months, something like that, 2 months to complete it. And what the story of it is that everything dies, everything degrades. This is art that can fade away, but still remain. So what we were trying to capture was the beauty of how music lingers in the air after it stopped being played. And we emulated that by having the orchestrion with nature taking over the bottom of the piano. And it was so much fun. We loved doing it. And any chance to do public art, an artist should take that chance, big time.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
So, as per tradition, you are the lucky recipient, or not lucky, we're lucky for you to be the recipient of this beautiful Million Cups mug. You can only get one of those by being on this stage.
Thank you.
And doing a fabulous job, as Colene did. Thank you so much. And I would love, something I would just love to say about you while you're up here is, I don't know anybody else who works as hard to create something for so many other people based on the passion that they have than this person right here. And she's been tremendous at helping create this environment and what we do here, and bringing people into the fold and spreading the word. And relentless is another word I would put out there. And that does come at a cost, right? And so my goal is to try and help move from martyrdom into, some sort of value exchange. And it's really hard in the arts, right? The arts is something that's really hard to place a value on. And oftentimes it has to be done through some endowment or some, major funder, individual funder, or a block of big funders. It is really hard to do something grassroots. And so that's something that we're actively always working on, is trying to solve for that problem and crack that nut and figure that piece out, especially in a small community. So that's something I would invite all of the ideas on. And our First Friday events here are incredible. Who's been to one of the gallery openings? Awesome. Yes, they're truly an amazing event to come to. And every time, we learn and we grow and we iterate on that. And every time they keep growing. And this idea of the Pacific Northwest Museum, that's what I said. See, I just wanted to test all of you. Is just as you can see, the vision of it and what it could be, as well as the example of what has been created in the past, it would be an amazing addition, amazing piece, a thing people would travel. It's worth traveling to come see, right? It's a destination point itself. So all of the ideas, don't let this be the end of helping figure out that problem, and also helping figure out this funding issue for the arts. It's not just physical art, it's all forms of art are struggling really badly right now, and we're losing a lot of spaces that support the art, right? And COVID was a big piece of that, and then the training that we all received during COVID as far as not going out into groups of people, it stuck for a lot of people, and we're not seeing the crowds we once did for music, for public art, all of the different pieces. We're working to retrain ourselves and get new habits as a community, but I honor the work that Colene does. I believe in Colene. I believe she can, do what she says she's gonna do, and we just need to align the stars and find a financial partner and put those pieces together to be able to make this happen. And I fully believe it can happen if we're able to figure those pieces out. So thank you so much. Yes. Another big hand for Colene. And thank you all for being here. This message up here is true. Like, every one of you has something to share on this stage. The focal point is entrepreneurship, right? But there's all the pieces that support the pillars of entrepreneurship that empower and enable entrepreneurship to happen in a community. And we all have something. If you're in this room, you have something to add to that piece. So we're always looking to have those conversations. People who are curious about, what would I be able to contribute to this? Let's have a conversation and talk about that. And, Dr. Kim is always, I say always available. Sorry, that's the wrong thing to say. Almost never available, but will make time for you, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, quick save. Thank you for being here. This is the Hive. It's also the home of the Hive Art Hub. It's the home of Live from the Hive, which is our series of concerts that we do. Speaking of which, this Sunday, we have a special treat coming to town. We have Hot Buttered Rum coming up from San Francisco to play. This is not a thing that we've had here, and they're an incredible band. Look them up. They sort of like weave between blues and bluegrass. That's sort of where they live, and they're an incredible band. And then we have Fox and Bones, which is a duo that they're opening. They're coming down from Portland to open for Hot Buttered Rum. I would not want to be Hot Buttered Rum after Fox and Bones because they are also incredible. It's just it's a twosome duo, and they're just a delight and incredible people. So please, again, not just you, spread the word. So the doors are at 6. The show starts at 7. The opening act is at 7, and the main act is at 8. So come support it. Spread the word. We'd love to see you this weekend. Okay? Yeah, we'll put some music on after this so you can hear it while you stick around and socialize and have some more coffee because I made a whole other pot that I'm bringing out right now. Okay? Jitters and all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all for being here.
Well, the grass is always bluer on the other side of the fence. And love is always sweeter when she gives you a second chance. Oh, well, we came in through Nevada. Mr. Two-Peak got us here. That's me. And now we like to have a taste of good Rocky Mountain beer. I remember the sound of her sweet southern voice as I jumped out the window and was gone. Remember the cool Colorado night, but there's something I forgot. Oh, well, in these big Rocky Mountains where there's so much to do, it's hard to get drunk on 3.2. It's hard to get drunk on 3.2. You can see you Boulder or BYU. It's hard to get drunk on 3.2. It's hard to get drunk on 3.2. They joined the Peace Corps and worked to ban landmines. Other folks helped the world, one bar at a time. Oh, well, my head is sober, my stomach's full, to better serve the Lord. I'll never be untrue when I'm drinking 3.2, thanks to that state liquor board. I remember the sound of her sweet southern voice as I jumped out the window and was gone. remember the cool Colorado night, but there's something I forgot. Oh, well, in these big Rocky Mountains where there's so much to do, it's hard to get drunk on 3.2. It's hard to get drunk on